now just 5 weeks before the season starts, yet for Bintcliffe it's the first chance to get to grips with such fundamentals as left-hand drive.
That's a new thing really, because I haven't done much driving, hardly any at all on the left-hand side, so I've had that to sort of get to grips with a bit, but that's not so bad now. I think it'd be worse if the gearbox was like a H box rather than just a sequential. So that's helped in that respect, but it's just such a new learning curve, also for the four-wheel drive, the left-hand drive, different gearbox, touring car, and then having to go in a different circuit.
And the learning needs to be done quickly, because racing success is an integral part of Audi's marketing plans in Britain.
Our market research constantly tells us that Audi has a very good image in the public's mind, but it's not clear, it's not sharp, and it's not focused. And I think since we've relaunched our naming policy in terms of A4, A6, A8, certainly that clarity is coming in the public's mind. But what we need now, from a very successful launch obviously of the A4 last year, is to breathe some excitement into the brand.
And with Audi now preparing to defend the championship title in Italy, race again in Germany and launch their assault in Britain, the A4 has been substantially improved.
We have a new aerodynamic package. We have a new engine position. The engine is now a little bit more backward to optimize the gravity center of the car. And we have a complete new exhaust system from the front up to the end with new catalytic converter position, and we have a little bit reworked the engine to be a little bit more performant on power output.
It's all changed, therefore, for the A4 and for Bintcliffe. 2 years previously, he was selling his watch to pay for tyres on his way to winning the Clio Championship.
You know, I had to move out my house, rent it out, moved in with my gran, and virtually at one point sold everything I had to win a championship. But then winning that championship got me a drive in another one, so I had to make the sacrifice then to sort of push the career along.
From North Yorkshire to Rome, Bintcliffe has come a long way, but his real journey is only just beginning. Racing out of his home base in Monte Carlo, Biela has become an ambassador, almost a missionary for Audi Sport. After driving to his National Touring Car Championship in Germany in 1991, Biela is chosen to spearhead Audi's first venture into France, and he wins the championship in his first season. That only serves to whet his appetite for further challenges.
For me, it's very interesting to do a new championship, and if they have to build up a new team and everything, the whole organization, it's quite an interesting job. I mean, if you do motorsport for 10 or 12 years, you're always looking for something new, something special. And for me, this is a special motivation to go to a foreign country and to build up a new team and to take part of a new championship.
It seems only natural for Audi to call upon him to further spread their gospel in the Auto Trader RAC Touring Car Championship, and he repays that faith by winning the opening 2 races at Donington.
We didn't get the cars till quite late, although obviously the car was built and run last year, so we knew that it was a fairly strong package. But putting together 25 people, most of whom have never worked together before, and going out more or less immediately to start running the car was a bit of a challenge, but luckily it came together pretty well.
2 weeks later, that perfect start becomes a hat-trick at Brands Hatch, as Biela's 4-wheel traction gives him the drop over the rest of the field.
At the start, it's very good for us because we do not have any wheel spin. So for the front-wheel driven cars, it's very difficult, especially in Brands Hatch, because first row is uphill, and they had a lot of wheel spin. So that's the reason why I could win the start. And but to be honest, I was very happy to be first in the first corner.
But controversy erupts after race 4. For the first time, Biela fails to make the podium. he finishes fourth, but immediately after the race, Vauxhall, who won the championship through John Cleland in '95, lodge a protest against Audi's front suspension. That protest is upheld. Biela is disqualified and docked not just his 8 points for fourth place, but also 2 maximum scores, dropping him back to 7th place in the championship.
Basically, the FIA regulations that we run to specify that we have to have the suspension to the same design and layout as the road car, the homologated road car. And our competitors had some doubts about the top and bottom links. On the road car there are 2 links that come to the upright, and on the race car the 2 links join into 1 point on the upright, top and bottom. Basically we had to prove that the wheel movement is the same in the road car and in the race car, vertical movement and camber change and so on, so that we had not changed the design and operating principle of the suspension.
The problem we had was that there was no documentary evidence on the day. If we had been in possession of the document that the FIA put out on the suspension after we clarified it, then the situation would have gone away, but it was simply a matter that the FIA are a little bit slow in producing documents to support it. So in the absence of any documentary evidence, Vauxhall decided to put a protest in order to get that clarification.
Certain elements of the judicial procedure have to take a natural course, which is, in this instance, was totally the wrong way. Nobody wanted that to happen. We just wanted to be sure that we were all on the same playing field, really, and well, we got it. And that element of it was very unfortunate, I felt.
For me, it's actually a good sign if somebody tries to win against us like this, you know. That shows that our work on the circuit, at the circuit, is very good, and they try to find other arguments to beat us. So this is actually a compliment.
After a long week for everyone at the Buckingham base of Audi Sport UK, the A4 design is cleared, and Biela returns to the top of the championship with all points restored. It won't be long, however, before further controversy emerges. While Biela is hitting the headlines, Bintcliffe is hitting the odd spot of trouble as he comes to terms with an unfamiliar car.
I put some new tyres on, but the temperature's been very, very cold, so it's been taking probably longer than I'm used to warm the tyres up, and I started to push a bit too hard and had a bit of an off, and the car's now had to go back to Germany just to be rechecked and make sure it's going to be okay.
And yet, for all of Bintcliffe's lack of testing time, car number 44 begins to make its mark on the series, even leading the 4th race at Brands Hatch. Then, in only his 5th race for the team, Bintcliffe gets onto the podium as Biela wins again in an Audi 1-2 at Thruxton.
It was surprising, really, because the fact that we didn't actually do that much testing before the start of the season. The team had, and Frank had before, because they'd been away developing the car and one thing and another. But the decision really came quite late, and I came quite late in the proceedings with that. And, you know, to only do a few test days and then jump straight into it, I was really pleased. You know, I've never thought about other pressures. I've just wanted to get on and do my job. My job is to try and win races, or the next best thing is to really back Frank up. And if he wins, for me to be second right behind him.
Bintcliffe achieves just that at Thruxton, but his big day is destined to be overshadowed. The calmest man amidst the frenetic activity and unexpected controversies of race days always appears to be the one who should have the most to worry about, Team Director John Wickham.
I suppose it's just a characteristic. I try not to get too excited about things. I think if there's a lot going on in different areas at a meeting, and it's really my responsibility to try and understand everything that's going on within the team. just from trying to get pole position in qualifying, win races, through to the catering and who's eating at what time in the motorhome, that sort of thing. So there's always something going on, and there's always a need to just try and make sure that everything's organised and fairly calm.
The family circle undoubtedly helps his temperament, but home life is always in danger of being seriously disrupted by the never-ending cycle of testing and races.
I mean, we talk and issues come up, and John comes home and chats about the life and any problems he might have encountered, but we do try and keep it very separate. I must say, the children don't become involved. I don't think either of them have ever been to a race. I like to keep it sort of fairly separate. It's such an unusual lifestyle, motor racing, I think, and I like the children to have a sort of normal upbringing as possible, really.
It's a lifestyle the whole family has got used to, as Wickham has moved around in motorsport to find his near-perfect job.
Well, I've had a few years in F1 with not a very competitive team, and really came to the end of that scene, I suppose. I moved into touring cars last year on a sort of consultancy basis with another manufacturer, and then got the offer to go with Audi, which really was a great step forwards, because it's a competitive operation and the chance to run at the front, which for some years really hasn't been there for me.
Helping Audi to become so competitive are their partners in the race season.
The oil is cooled to a very low temperature, -15, -20, -25 degrees C. The rotor begins to turn, and the speed at which the rotor turns is related to the viscosity of the oil.
Much of the work done at Castrol's Pangbourne laboratories is designed to give the A4 that extra bit of grunt.
We've measured quite substantial differences between certain oils. That surprised even me. I wouldn't think there'd be that much of a difference. And that's in terms of fuel economy. And of course fuel economy then transmits to power as well.
And for the partners, Audi's return to touring car racing in Britain has meant a welcome jobs boost.
We're backing the Audi team in the UK, Germany, Italy and Belgium this year, and that means 12,000 Dunlop race tyres. They're manufactured at our Fort Dunlop plant in Birmingham. We're employing 2,000 people, 200 of whom are directly involved in the motorsport programme.
It all adds up to a competitive, successful package. But because of that, Audi's team director is about to find himself embroiled in yet more controversy. After winning the first race at Thruxton, Biela's performance in round 6 proves to be even more demoralising for his opponents. Because of an accident in qualifying, which prevents him from completing the requisite 3 laps to register a time, the German has to start from the back of the grid with a 10-second penalty. He's helped by the early introduction of the safety car, which effectively wipes out that penalty, but for the rest of the race shows all the qualities of a true world champion. He storms through the field to eventually finish 3rd. So, with nearly a quarter of the season gone, Biela has won 4 of the 6 races and is 35 points ahead in the championship, at which time the organisers hit Audi with a second bombshell, a weight addition of 30 kilograms to their car.
My stance has always been that the best car should win. What we aim to do by the 30 kilos is not make the race-winning car a midfield car or an uncompetitive car, but just to close up the gap between the Audis and the rest of the field. All I'm interested in as a championship organiser is producing close and exciting racing. I'm not interested in changing around the natural order of success.
For me, it's not the case that Audi was dominating the championship. We were just, let's say, well sorted out, and we finished all the races, and that's the reason why we were ahead of all the others. And I always said in the next few races the others will close up anyway, and that's what happens now. And with these extra 30 kilos, we have big trouble to keep our car competitive.